For the next presentation of today, the second speaker is the research assistant Züleyha Hande AKATA, and I will briefly read her biography. Züleyha Hande AKATA is a research assistant at Ardahan University. She completed her PhD in the field of New Turkish language. The subject of her doctoral dissertation is a manuscript belonging to Old Anatolian Turkish. She is one of the members of the Turkish Society for Semiotic Studies and TAMGA, the Turkish Journal of Semiotic Studies. Her research interests are Turkish language, linguistics, and semiotics. AKATA has various academic studies, including book chapters, articles, and papers on New Turkish language, sociolinguistics, and semiotics. And now I give the floor to Hande AKATA to make her presentation titled The Aesthetics of Daily Spoken Language of Turkish.
Thank you, Hilal. Dear Professor and dear colleagues, hello to you all. First of all, I would like to tell you about the framework of the paper. Not all these sections will be included in the presentation, but you will be able to read them in detail in the full text of the paper. The paper consists of 3 main chapters. In the first chapter, the concepts of aesthetics and everyday aesthetics are discussed and theoretical knowledge is presented. In the second chapter, the relationship between linguistics performance and aesthetics is mentioned. In the third chapter, the daily spoken language of Turkish is analyzed according to criteria of everyday aesthetics in the sample of formless expressions. The findings and results obtained are evaluated in the conclusion chapter of the study. The purpose of this paper is to provide an opportunity to make an inference about the aesthetic value of the daily spoken language of Turkish through the concept of everyday aesthetics. Although there are many studies that reveal the aesthetics value of Turkish literary language, there is no study that reveals the aesthetics value of the daily spoken language. The original value of the study is to reveal the aesthetic value of Turkish daily spoken language, to eliminate a deficiency in this field, and to introduce the concept of everyday aesthetics to Turkish academic literature in the field of the linguistic performance. In this paper, daily spoken language in general and formless expression is in particular have been evaluated in terms of their everyday aesthetic value. In this evaluation process, the criteria of everyday aesthetics have been taken into consideration, and the aesthetic value of the formless expression has been tried to be revealed according to their compliance with this criteria and their function in daily life. First of all, we have talked about aesthetics and everyday aesthetics. Aesthetics is a concept that is evaluated with different definition and approaches according to different fields. Aesthetics has mostly been the subjects of fields such as philosophy and artistry and has been associated with concepts such as beauty, pleasantness, and aesthetic taste. According to Baumgarten, aesthetics investigates beauty as the perfection of sensory knowledge. Kant, on the other hand, defined the boundaries of aesthetics more clearly. He distinguished the beautiful from the useful and determining the positions for the beautiful and the good overlap and differentiate, show that the aesthetic pleasure is different from sensory pleasure, and drew the specific boundaries of aesthetics. This boundary has led aesthetics to establish a unique system of values and to exclude any phenomenon that does not conform to the system of values. However, aesthetics is still not a field that has been able to establish a consensus and a standardized evaluation system. One of the broadest definitions of aesthetics was made by Mandaki as follows. The term aesthetic has been used to design it, an experience, the quality of an object, a feeling of pleasure, classicism in art, a judgment of taste, the capacity of perception, a value, an attitude, the theory of art, the doctrine of beauty, a state of the spirit, contemplative receptivity, an emotion, an intention, a way of life, the faculty of sensibility, a branch of philosophy, a type of subjectivity, the merit of certain forms, or an act of the expression. The diversity containing the definition also shows how aesthetics as a field has been evaluated in many different ways. The evaluation criteria of aesthetics and the way it's handled have changed from the past to the present. Today, aesthetics has become an ordinary phenomenon of daily life. This naive aesthetics, which has risen from the unity of the concepts of beautiful and useful, especially with the establishment of ergonomics and industrial design, has freed art from the captivity of museums and galleries and brought into the daily life of people, into the streets of the city where people live, and into their homes. It can be said that the aesthetics, which is now more accessible, has been replaced by new aesthetics perception in some cases. One of these perceptions, which emerged as a sub-branch of aesthetics, is everyday aesthetics. According to this concept, the aesthetic is not something independent of the everyday and the ordinary, one that is fundamentally concerned with the relationships of people to people and the framing of the interaction in a manner that creates, recreates, and maintains social values and structures. The concept of everyday aesthetics is a field which, with its own system of values, independent of the conventional concept of aesthetics. This social sense of aesthetics is concerned with an epistemology and understanding of space or place or social structure and communication as closely related to concept of affect. As such, it is seemingly only distantly concerned with traditional philosophical aesthetics. Although these two concepts seem to be related, the reference of everyday aesthetics and the reference of aesthetics are quite different from each other. Then on the basis of which criteria and in which context should we evaluate the concept of everyday aesthetics? While evaluating everyday aesthetics, the traditional aesthetics perception should be put aside and evaluations should be made according to criteria of new aesthetic value system. Malkian explains everyday aesthetics with the criteria of ongoing, common, activity, typically but not necessarily aesthetic. Before the concept of the everyday aesthetics emerged, the aesthetics value of everyday life was not so focused. Everyday aesthetics is basically related to 5 areas: food, wardrobe, dwelling, conviviality, and going out. Also, daily speech routines are directly related to conviviality and going out. Studies on aesthetics are mostly on the literary field of language. Turkish is one of the languages in which many literary works are produced. Many studies have been conducted to reveal the aesthetics value of the Turkish standard language, whose earliest written products we have started to see in the 7th century. The focus of these studies is on the written language and the literary products that are thought to reflect the aesthetic value of the written language. On the other hand, the dimension of Turkish in which the real richness of discourse and the aesthetic value of Turkish are revealed is the daily spoken language. Although many studies have been conducted on the Turkish literary language, no study has been conducted on the aesthetic value of the Turkish daily spoken language. However, daily spoken language also contains important data on everyday aesthetics. Turkish daily spoken language has a unique aesthetic value despite its ordinarities and familiarity. The most prominent functional forms of daily linguistics performance are formless expressions. Formless expressions are elements of daily spoken language that are repeated and form an aesthetic pattern with these repetitions. This pattern enables the creation of everyday aesthetic value. When we speak about the concept of everyday aesthetics, we also mention about routine and repeated patterns. Everyday aesthetic is restricted to aspects of our lives marked by widely shared daily routines or patterns to which we tend to impart an aesthetics character. The equivalent of daily life routines in daily linguistics performance are formless expression. Aksan also calls formless expression as relationship expressions, considering the function they assume in social structure. The formless expression can be defined as follows. Formless expression linguistic units that are previously formed in a certain way and stored in the memory, that are not reproduced when they are to be uttered, but remembered as they are and used to someone additions and subtractions if necessary, that may consist of a single word, consecutive or intermediate words, that helps to establish or continue communication by presenting the words adapted by the society in certain situations and whose usage area is very limited. The use of formless expression prioritizes function of meaning, but this does not mean the expression does not carry deep social codes. This formless expression provides the individual with the pleasure of social belonging, common cultural accumulation, and the familiar. This pleasure corresponds to the everyday aesthetics. This aesthetic value of formless expression is hidden in the social and cultural codes they contain. Demirci states that expressions emerge as a reflection of the religious belief, the societies in which they are produced, religious beliefs, perception of life and existence, traditions, history, socioeconomics, and in short, the culture of the societies which they are produced. The value of the cultural phenomenon and the meaning gained over time is the result of a deep background accumulation. Knowing this background accumulation and realizing the aesthetic value, of course, requires a certain level of consciousness. The formless expression constitute the sample of the study have been evaluated under the headings social relationship, emotion, attitude, and the discourse organization. Within the scope of the study, considering that the aesthetic value of positive emotion is higher, formless expressions with negative connotations have not been included. In daily linguistic performance, formless expressions are mostly used with the function of relationship sociality. This function, which is one of the most basic functions of language, enables establishing and maintaining relationships through various linguistic expressions. Formless expressions of social relationship are expressions that we have to use in the natural course of life in various environments we are in, instant or planned, short or long-term communication situation with people we are intimate with or do not know at all, whether it is the result of a compulsory courtesy or a heartfelt desire. Formless expressions of social relationship are part of the daily spoken language routine. Everyday aesthetics concerns or recurring daily routines rather than episodic events or projects. The repetitive form of these expressions allows for everyday aesthetics creation. In daily life, especially in situations such as greeting, living, asking someone is doing, getting acquainted, formless expressions are used with the relationship function. The relationship function is used to establish a relationship through language to confirm the continuation of the relationship, to extend and not interrupt it. Expressions such as günaydın, good morning, iyi günler, have a good day, hayırlı akşamlar, auspicious evenings, merhaba, hello, selam, hi, and selamünaleyküm, may peace be with you, are specific to greetings, living, and meeting situations. Furthermore, when someone is asked, nasılsın, how are you, the answer is often expected to be short like the question. In this context, how are you is not like a question, it is actually a kind of greeting. In social communication, when someone is greeted or asked, how are you, and no response is received, this refers that there is a break in communication. The expressions of relationship are a sign that social communication is going on, that everything is fine, politeness, and good wishes. In the context of welcome and farewell, formless expressions such as hoş geldin, hoş bulduk, welcome and thank you, Allah'a emanet ol, goodbye, esen kalın, may peace be with you, güle güle, goodbye, iyi yolculuklar, have a good journey, sağlıcakla, take care of yourself are used. It should also be noted that some formless expression can be used with different meanings in different contexts, such as güle güle, goodbye. Güle güle, laughing, said by the person staying behind. Note that güle güle can occur in conjunction with other words, adapting itself to situation and forming part of a politeness formula used to convey good wishes, hence trying to establish rapport. Examples are güle güle giy, wear it laughingly, used to refer to a new piece of clothing. Güle güle oturun, may you live here laughingly or happily, used to a person who moved into a new place. Such formless expression can be encountered in different contexts as a reflection of good wishes. On the screen, you can see examples of socially specific formless expression in Korean and Turkish. This not only show that there are similar expressions in every society, but also reflect the aesthetics originality of each society's unique cultural creation. Daily communication is sustained by daily routine conversations that provide social interaction. These routine actions and celebrations have an important place in Turkish society with their unifying and culture-sustaining qualities. There are various formless expressions specific to the context of each celebration. For example, formless expressions such as Allah kabul etsin, May God it acceptable, Bayramınız kutlu olsun, May your Eid be blessed, Bayramınız mübarek olsun, Eid mübarek. Şeker tadında nice bayramlara, Have a sugar flavored Eid are used during feast. At birth, formless expressions such as Allah analı babalı büyütsün, May God let him or her grow up with his or her mother and father. Allah bağışlasın, God bless him or her. Gözünüz aydın, congratulations. 41 kere maşallah, 41 times maşallah, or word to word translate in English, we can say, May God protect you from the evil eye 41 times. The wedding marriage context, which has an important place in Turkish society, also has its own formless expressions. Example of formless expression used in marriage and engagement can be presented as follow. Allah ayırmasın, May God keep you together. Allah mesut etsin, May God make you happy, dersi başına, same to you. Mutluluğunuz daim olsun, I wish you all time life happiness. Asst states that some of these formless expressions are more interesting in terms of subtlety and expressive power. A cliche such as bir yastıkta kocayın, have a long-lasting marriage, or we can word-to-word translate in English, May God make you grow old in a one pillow, expresses the wish for a marriage bond to be lasted forever happily and coexistence through a non-transfer and in very powerful way. Clichés also have qualities that reflect the creative aspect of language. Their widespread recognition and adoption in the language often causes this creativity to go unnoticed. Eating food has a special place in Turkish culture. It has a unifying quality that brings individuals together. Every special day or event is associated with the ritual of food. Formless expressions such as ellerine sağlık, God bless your hands, afiyet olsun, enjoy your meal, afiyet bal şeker olsun, enjoy your meal as if you are eating honey and sugar. Yarasın, cheers, ziyade olsun, let it be more are expressions specific to culture of food. Doğançay states that formless expression vary according to different societies. Draws attention to the fact that bon appetit can be used in Turkish both before and after a meal, whereas in French it is used only at the beginning as an invitation to start the meal. A specific formula does not exist in English for the specific situation. In these expressions related to food culture, which are widely used in Turkish, the wish for the people to be better and healthier thanks to what they eat is dominant. When someone who eats is said, afiyet olsun, enjoy your meal, he or she says, gel beraber olsun, it means that let's eat together. The situation is a sign of the Turkish society's hospitality and sharing reflected in the linguistic performance. In Turkish culture, things are shared and togetherness is preferred instead of individuality. Condolence is one of the contexts in which empathy is emphasized in Turkish culture. The formless expressions such as Allah rahmet eylesin, May God have mercy on him or her, başınız sağ olsun, please accept my sympathy for your lost, or may your wound heal, toprağı bol olsun, may the soul be much, are used in the condolences. While empathizing with the bereaved person, these expressions also include the wish that no one will experience this grief again. While feelings in the face of death are expressed in many languages with words such as acınızı paylaşıyorum, my condolences are with you, I share your grief. Taziyelerimi dile getirmek isterim. I would like to express my condolences. A formless expression such as Allah acısını unutturmasın, may God not let you forget your grief, in Turkish is a transitive and a different form of expression that tells the person who has lost a relative not to experience any more grief. The use of these expressions has become almost compulsory in some cases in social life. Failure to use them will cause the social relationships to be negatively affected and the person to be shamed. In some cases, it may not be culturally appropriate to say something other than formless expressions, especially in sad and grief situations such as condolences is expected to use appropriate expression. For this reason, although these elements do not carry a semantic value, they provide positive emotions in the recipient of the message as a form of expression. These formless expressions are very important elements of social linguistics because they are sociocultural tools that Malinowski defines with the expression fatigue communion, which is used only to strengthen the ties between the members of the society without the aim of conveying information. Due to these effects and functions, formless expressions have a value in terms of everyday aesthetics. In this study, which aims to determine the aesthetics value of Turkish daily spoken language, formless expressions have been selected as a sample. The fact that formless expressions are an important part of daily communication and the functional value they assume in the use have been decisive in determining the sample of this study. The everyday aesthetics value of the formless expression has been determined in the line with criteria explained below along with the reasons. The formless expressions provide the ongoing criterion of everyday aesthetics. These expressions are directly related to our daily lives and exhibit a recurring pattern. The formless expressions are elements that are commonly experienced with the speakers of a language. They conform to the criteria of everyday aesthetics because they provide a social unity and have a widespread use. The formless expressions are part of everyday experience. They gain value through their functions in daily routines and practice. The function that the formless expression, assuming as a form, is compatible with usage, that is activity. That means expressions provide another criterion of everyday aesthetics. Even if they are different from the traditional aesthetics consumption, they carry an aesthetic value as well. They are almost the ornaments of language with the intense meaning they contain and the functions they assume. They have the most prominent and most used examples of everyday aesthetics. Of course, the aesthetics value created by these elements is related to concept of everyday aesthetics that is different from the aesthetic value created by a work of art. When evaluated in the dimension of daily spoken language, the peace of mind provided the familiarity and the feeling that everything is fine led to the creation of an aesthetic value. In addition, there are elements that have an everyday aesthetic value since they contain kindness, compassion, empathy, and respect. This situation provides the aesthetics creation of everyday aesthetics, which is typical but not compulsory. With all these features, the formless expressions of Turkish daily spoken language can be evaluated in the context of everyday aesthetics. Of course, it is possible to increase the number of the formless expressions quoted as examples in the study and the context in which they are used. However, in line with the scope of the study, it has been focused on the elements and their uses that offer the daily aesthetics value of daily life and make positive contribution to communication.
Hande, I'm sorry, you have 5 minutes left.
Okay. Everyday aesthetics in daily language use is one of the founder and sustainer factors of social structure. This study, which aims to draw attention to importance and address aesthetics in different dimensions, also aims to be source for different studies. Thank you for your listening. That's all.